Good evening, everyone. I will call to order October 18, 2023 meeting of the Planning Commission at 6:32. May I please ask Commissioner Guerra to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag?
It's an honor to lead the flag salute of the greatest country. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I please call roll?
Commissioner Guerra,
Here.
Vice Chair Uva,
Here.
Chair Ortiz,
Here.
and Commissioner Duarte. Excused.
Thank you. This is time to set aside for oral communications from Planning Commission. Do any commissioners wish to make an announcement, report on a conference, meeting, or request items for a future agenda item? Vice Chair Uva.
I have none.
Commissioner Guerra.
I have none under the agenda as I know it to be. I will for the next meeting or whenever items come up.
And I have none. Does the Community Development Director have a report on City Council actions or any general updates for tonight?
Hi, good evening, Chair Ortiz. I do have an update on today's agenda items. At the request of the applicant, agenda item number 3, which is referenced as PLN-22-00101, which is the request for the conditional use permit filed by Tempo Cantina located at 12056 Paramount Boulevard, will be continued to a future date. That item will not be heard by the Planning Commission tonight at the request of the applicant. The conditional use permit, as a reminder, is listed as a CUP request, a conditional use permit request to expand the outdoor dining area to revise an existing CUP to allow alcohol, Type 47, in conjunction with an expanded outdoor dining area and full-service restaurant, and to allow valet parking. And the item will be continued to a future date that has not been set. And with that, I'll turn it over to Chair Ortiz.
Thank you so much, Irma, for that update. Based on that information, we want to let members of the public know that the CUP item will be agendized for a future meeting. Any new public notice will be mailed once again prior to the item being heard by the Planning Commission at a future public hearing. Because tonight's public hearing on the matter is being continued, there will be no public comment on the item, and no discussion or deliberation on the item of the Planning Commission will be made. Any members of the public wishing to make a public comment on this item may do so when this matter is re-agendized and new public notice is mailed.
Can I ask a question on there? So people that are here for it and they don't know when it's come back, can they talk about this item during the non-agenda public comment, right?
They may do so, but it will be better if they do it on the next meeting.
Well, yeah, but if they're here and they wanted to, they could do both, right?
Through the chair, if I can expand on that, a member of the public can remain and participate in today's meeting. There is a section at the next item, which is to make public comments on items not on the agenda. Members of the public can approach the podium and make comments as they wish to do so. So to answer Commissioner Guerra's question, someone from the public may continue to make comment as they wish. However, we do encourage members of the public to submit any comments and concerns in writing to the Planning Division if they want to further elaborate on any details, and we'll be sure to include that information and those letters as part of the Planning Commission packet when this item does return back to the Planning Commission. And just as a reminder, the announcement we made today is partially including that the Planning Commissioners will not have a discussion or deliberation on the item, item number 3, so there will be no discussion. So if there is a comment made by the member of the public pertaining to item number 3, just as an expectation, the Planning Commissioners will not be able to respond, or as staff as well. But I also want to make myself available and my staff. My name is Irma Huitron. I'm the Director of Community Development, and the assigned planner is Alfonso Hernandez, who's also present today. Following today's meeting, if anybody wishes to stay, we are more than happy to discuss with you what this item, what it means as far as a future date, and we can also provide you with our emails and contact information so we can keep you up to date.
Any other questions, Commissioner Guerra?
No, that answers it, yeah.
Moving on to non-agenda public comment. Persons who wish to address the Planning Commission on city business not listed on the agenda may do so at this time. Persons wishing to address the Planning Commission on any item listed on the agenda other than public hearing items may do so at this time. Persons wishing to address the public hearing items shall do so at this time at the public hearing. It is requested but not required that you state your name, address, and subject matter upon which you wish to speak. Please limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes. Pursuant to the Brown Act, no discussion or action other than a brief response referral to the city planning staff or scheduled for a subsequent agenda shall be taken by the Planning Commission on an issue brought forth that is not listed on the agenda. Speakers may now come up.
Yeah, regarding PLN 22-00101 for the record, fuck you and your plan. People should have an understanding that alcohol is all a part of a restaurant environment nowadays. Without alcohol, a dumb motherfucker can't run a business to create more monies like Guerra patting his wallet and getting fat eating out the cash cows. Why do I call it a cash cow? Because Guerra and his cronies and all his crony developer friends and Mr. Attorney, Mr. Funk, know that it's a conflict of interest when dumb motherfuckers plan these routine, oh, let's carry it on to the following planning committee. No, we want to hear the shit now and let's get it going forward. People have a business to run. People want their business to go forward, not delayed, not have you tell them to put the brown little bag right here at the bottom of the podium and kick it to them and stick it behind the seat. That's bullshit. So as long as we have an ex-fat mayor and that other fat mayor of Downey, we're figuring out that Downey lifestyle is becoming like a fucking Beverly Hills of criminals, where only the elite get their programs passed through the Planning Commission. And if you're friends of a friends and he's black and white, Israeli, fuck them on behalf of Hamas, because everyone's entitled to build a restaurant, build a building, and with all these fucking stupid conditions that you call a single family residential home that's gonna be built on a corner on PLN 22-00101, that's how fucking stupid you guys are. That's more density. It means peoples cannot find parking off the street. They can't have guests over anymore. And you're gonna create another permit parking. And people don't want that. You know, if I owned a home in Downey, especially in a nice area where it's single residential homes and some dumb motherfucker's gonna build the Taj Mahal on my corner and block my sun, block my view, and create density, no parking, and more disruption on our fucking block, I'd be fucking furious in being in here today telling you like it is. White collar motherfucking piece of shit, rubber stamp, pencil neck motherfuckers. And also on this issue on Hasty Avenue, which I'll be talking about a little later, on R1 6,000 single family residential, low density my ass. Fuck you. And once again, if you ever decide to own a real business, don't build it in Downey. There's too many fucking regulations, too much red tape. Tell the fat fucking mayor to just approve it and get you going because you have a business. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Victoria Fujimoto with Labrie Management. I'm the property supervisor for Villas at Downey, located at 12066 Paramount Boulevard. And I stand before you opposing to the conditional use permit as well as a valet parking service for Tempo Cantina. The establishment opened their outdoor dining back in 2020 during COVID restrictions and later their valet parking. Our tenants have been gravely affected by this establishment since they opened their doors, but even more so due to their outdoor dining. Our tenants have been dealing with noise coming from the establishment, loud music, loud gatherings, traffic congestion, no street parking available, even with their current valet parking, constant trash coming to our property from the establishment, from confetti, food, and even their patrons coming over to our property inebriated, leaving food and trash behind. Due to the trash and lack of cleanliness from the establishment, we've had issues with pest control. We've had more pest control site visits and treatments than ever before. I first brought up the noise ordinance complaint to the city code enforcer back in January of 2021. I placed numerous phone calls, left voicemails, and no follow-up. I wrote a letter on July 15th, 2021, and in which was addressed to City Council member Sean Ashton and copied to Code Enforcement Department. In this letter, I addressed the noise issues, traffic, trash, etc., no follow-up. On January 25th, 2022, an email was sent to the Code Enforcement Department with video footage that read the noise decibels coming from Tempo Cantina. The decibel readings were above the allowed maximum permissible noise level by sound across property boundaries, in which is in violation of the noise ordinance 4606.3. In the same email, we again addressed the pest control issues arising from the establishment onto our property. A code enforcer contacted us that they were investigating, however, nothing has changed. On July 11th, 2023, we reached out again to the city in regards to the ongoing noise coming from Tempo. By this time, we have now lost a handful of residents due to the noise. Tempo has no regards for our residents and now promotes Sunday Day Club via their own social media. As you can imagine, this is disruptive to the quiet and enjoyment of our residents. The residents are looking at us for answers and our hands are tied. We cannot seem to get the help we need. We've had more unit turnover in the building than ever before due to the noise, lack of street parking, debris, and pest issues. I stand before you asking you to please consider these facts before granting these permits. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amber Rodriguez. I am a resident, also the property manager, located at 12066 Paramount Boulevard. So we have basically noise level, living on the opposite side of the restaurant, still able to hear music, cheering, rattle that they've used for their bottle service. I've had to call the police several times due to the noise level. I've had to show a vacant apartment that was right next to the patio area, and you can hear people's conversations clearly, and there was no courtesy or consideration that are to the people who live right next door. I have heard from other residents that 2 or 3 in the morning, when employees are cleaning, you can hear them having loud conversations, glass bottles breaking when doing the recyclables almost every weekend, causing them to wake up and their children in the middle of the night. Within the past year and a half, I have had at least 3 residents move out due to the noise level. We've had numerous trash, the confetti, old food. I've seen kitchen pans between both of our buildings. That's been a constant issue. And the guests of Tempo are also leaving trash, beer cans, and food in front of the building that are on our lawn. This, has caused pests that we've had to deal with consistently. I've had to treat multiple units multiple times due to that. And the parking during their business hours and the weekends there are limitations on the street parking and on our own parking spots as well. I've had to call to get the cars towed that were parked in our residence assigned spots that clearly says that we have assigned parking, but yes, thank you.
Yes. Okay, hold on. Hi. I'm a longtime resident of Downey. Yes, I'm here to speak on Temple Cantina. So my main issue is with the CEQA exemption. Of course, CEQA does require, when it is an exemption, a notice of exemption, especially when it's a noise mitigation issue. So that's my main concern. And I don't agree with the conclusion based on the analysis with the staff report. So my main issue for that is, based off the C1 zoning, there is a clear detriment to the residential area, and it's a non-conforming use. So C1 zoning states that these shopping areas are intended to serve only the limited need for convenience goods and services in their immediate locality and should fit easily into a residential environment without detriment to the character of the area, which there is a clear detriment based off the multiple emails, based off property management statement, and also what I've firsthand seen, which is vomit on the floor. I've seen condoms on my street. I've seen beer bottles. I've seen people not acting in the most favorable taste, which is something that is reoccurring now. As you can see, I have 2 kids. I enjoy to live in my residence, and I cannot enjoy it freely considering the impact of this business. So one of my main concerns is that there's a culture of alcohol being created, which yes, everyone is free to enjoy, but when it's a clear detriment to the residential area and to the development and the use, that is not okay. So with the increase of the parking, there's a clear also detriment to the density and the zoning of the area. So I see here that there's, I believe 56 or 65 parkings required, something like that. There's gonna be less, I believe 4 that doesn't meet that limitation, which is going to be mitigated by whatever is here in the planning agenda, which that doesn't solve the problem either. Of course, C1 zoning also states that nightclubs are not permitted, which if you go onto Temple Cantina's website, it's a clear nightclub, which as you can see, it operates 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. Not permitted is live entertainment as well. As you can see on their on their social media, live entertainment has been continuing and still continues. Eating and drinking establishments, which are bars, taverns, pubs, microbreweries with food and drink, are not permitted establishment under C1 zoning. So with this conditional use permit, should not be approved based off the C1 zoning. So the ABC board also has many guidelines and procedures and protocols for how businesses with an alcohol license should be operating. And if you look into that as well, there's a clear detriment, and Tempo is not operating under those policies and procedures. So if you could just please revise CEQA and post that notice of exemption outside of what is clearly stated in that section, then you can see that a noise impact study needs to be done per CEQA. So if you can please do that.
Through the chair, if I make an announcement, just a reminder to members of the public, this is the time on the agenda for comments on non-agenda items. And just as a reminder, agenda item number 3 relating to the CUP for Tempo Cantina is being continued at the request of the applicant for a future date. And the public notice for the future date will be mailed once again, and those that were notified for today's public hearing will also be notified via mail again prior to the item being heard and deliberated on by the Planning Commission at a future hearing date. Because tonight's public hearing on the matter is being continued, just as a reminder, there will be no discussion or deliberation on the item by the Planning Commission. And again, as a reminder, any members of the public are welcome to submit public comments to the Planning Division of the city's Community Development Department. Thank you, Chair.
All right, that's totally fine. My name's Ivan Rios. I've only been living in Downey for about 3 years, so I'm a new resident. And I want to say, and I'm going to give concrete examples of a lot of what these other people are saying, okay? So I'm the person who walks around and found the condom, okay? More than just my children growing up around this kind of neighborhood is going to show what kind of city and businesses Downey is allowing to operate in a different kind of zoning, okay? The deliberate choice of leaving this, the deliberate choice of allowing this to happen is only going to increase the toxic culture of alcohol. So let me give you a concrete example of the type of people that are parking in our neighborhood and causing problems. These people are having sex down the street. I've witnessed it and called the police, and this is on more than one occasion. And again, the condom is just one thing, but I've visually seen people having sex, okay? And I hope this is not falling on deaf ears, even though this agenda item has been pushed forward, okay? I'm here, and everyone's here, because we are more than, this is beyond upsetting because you're allowing this business to operate when it should not be operating the way it is. If it is a nightclub, it does not belong where it is. If it is a day club, it does not belong where it is, okay? And again, I'm only been living in Downey for 3 years, and if this continues to allow, it just goes to show that maybe Downey isn't the best place to raise a family, okay? And I have 1 minute left, and I'm gonna yield my time. But yeah, you may push this agenda item forward, but that doesn't mean that we're not gonna be here and echo the same results. And I will submit something in writing as well with all of the evidence. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Cesar Soto, and I am a Downey resident. I am here to talk about subject PLN 2200101. And I echo Mr. Guerrero that this is the greatest country on earth. And a little bit about myself. I grew up in Huntington Park, and I was born and raised in Huntington Park. I left Huntington Park for a couple of reasons because I did not want to raise a family in what that city has become now. From there, I went to Southgate. Also, Southgate became what Downey is now becoming. I live directly. I actually didn't know a lot of my neighbors that are here today, but I've been in Downey for 10 years now. I have one daughter, and I'm echoing everything that they have mentioned today because I do live in the cul-de-sacs right behind it. And if you guys would actually come out maybe one night or on some time to see what we are seeing, you guys would actually agree with us. On my block, I have at least Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, at least 10 tow trucks on my block parked, ready to tow cars at a ridiculous amount from the parking structure at Shakey's and at the Circle K. I also have gotten up at 2, 3 in the morning because people on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays park all around our cul-de-sac and take all our parking and come out of the Temple Cantina, and they continue to party outside on their cars on the sidewalk there. We've called police out before in the past. So all of this is true. I also am tired of seeing cars crashed all over Paramount and on Downey Avenue from people, drunk drivers that hit cars that are parked. I am also shocked that I have to see a friend of mine die on the corner of Paramount. You guys, this past week, these two family members that died because of the speeding, because I'm pretty sure the gentleman was drunk as well. I also don't see any patrol out at night. I walk my dog, and I never see police out there patrolling the area. So that's something I just want to mention to you guys because I think it's important that we come together and we do what's right. This restaurant does not belong in a residential area because it is a bar and it does not belong there. A restaurant, yes, but not a bar. That's one thing. So thank you for your time, and we'll be seeing you guys out here again when the subject is back on. Thank you.
Hello. This is my first time coming to a meeting. My name's Alexandra Beamer. I recognize Mario because we went to the same church, St. Raymond's. I've lived in Downey for about 36 years. My parents have lived here longer. My kids go to Rio. My son goes to Doty, which should still be called East, by the way. Anyways, I am a member of the school site council at Rio. I'm actually the chairman of it. Downey's not what it used to be, and I thought I'd never say that because I was one of the ones trying to push for a change, and but dear God, it's changed a lot. It looks more like Hollywood every week, it seems, which, I mean, it isn't a bad thing for the money that we're getting. That's, all this money circulating in Downey. It's amazing. But yeah, there's just a lot of issues that come along with it. There is. more nervous now than ever to let my kids like go off. My son just wants to go to the mall when he gets out of school early on Wednesdays, and I'm like, maybe not. You know, people are breaking into the jewelry stores. You know, no police around. No offense, you guys are amazing. I love the police department, but you know, no one was there to kind of stop it. Kind of seemed like a setup. But anyways, yeah, there's just a lot going on. Things are staying open later and later. Like, do we have? I mean, bedtimes. Like, it's good to wake up early in the morning. We're not. You know, there's just a lot going on. I don't know much about what was on the agenda today. I'm not going to talk about it because you guys said not to. But it just goes to show that we're kind of selling out a little, you know? We probably shouldn't let certain organizations like kind of like monopolize Downey in a way. Not to say that that's what we're doing, because I mean, we're probably not. But yeah, there's just a lot wrong with what's happening. Yeah, I really, at this age in my life, I want to be, I mean, I love Downey. I talk it up to everyone. It's one of the smallest towns, and we're just so close knit. A lot of the police force used to, I mean, they have lived in Downey. They grew up out here. I think Downey should be a place for people to come. I don't want people to move out. I mean, I definitely think people who have lived here for a certain period of time should make the decisions for Downey, for sure. I don't really know any of the decisions any of you guys have made, but I'm sure they were good ones. And I'm sure after tonight's meeting, they will be amazing, because I have faith that Downey is amazing and we can build this town up again. It doesn't have to be what it looks like every Friday, Saturday night. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to me ramble. I appreciate all of you guys and everyone here. And I just don't like the cussing.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Felix. I'm a resident of Downey, and I live on the cul-de-sac directly behind Temple Cantina on Bergman Lane, so I'm directly impacted by the matter that is not on agenda. I want to start off by stating that I have lived in Downey since my youngest daughter was born. We moved to Downey in 2016 because we decided Downey was the place we wanted to raise our family. I have 3 older daughters that are adults, but we've decided Downey was the location because it's an ideal community to raise a family. As a result of moving here, years later, we've had to deal with the issue of this particular establishment coming online and thereby diminishing the quality of life for raising our family. As one of my neighbors noted, he's walked around and has noticed condoms on the ground. And so I have a 7-year-old, and over the past few weeks, there's been an increase in not only garbage in my yard and my neighbors' yards, but also used condoms. And so when I walk with my daughter down the street, she's starting to ask, why are there so many balloons on the floor? And so I will bring my daughter next time we come, and I will ensure that, so that way you all are adequately prepared to address this, that the community brings their children, because we've invested in the community as residents to ensure that Downey is the shining beacon that it always has been. And looking at it from a cost benefits analysis, this committee should consider the cost of an additional funding stream in tax dollars that the city will yield as a result of this establishment versus the off-putting sense of togetherness and community that this, not only this committee or commission, but also the city administration and council as well advocates that we are. And so does the small tax revenue increase as a result of this establishment outweigh the cost of putting off residents in the community that have been here longer than the establishment itself? And when I do walk through the community with my daughters, we often walk to the neighboring, the plaza where Circle K and Shakey's is. And even within the parking lot where Temple currently exists, there are always bottles on the ground. There are always people that are hostile when I'm walking with my minor child. And so there is a heightened need to be proactive or defensive in walking through a street in Downey. I come from East Los Angeles. That's where I was born and raised. But never had I thought that I would have to carry the same demeanor that I grew up with in East LA in the 90s that I have to do now in Downey. It's just the issue is not only impacting, it's not impacted by, is that the time? Okay, thank you.
So I really don't appreciate how the public is completely disenfranchised visually. Why is it that we are unable to be seen? You claim that you want the public to speak up and to contribute in a positive way to the city, but the city of Downey is the only city that censors public comment speakers from being visible. Los Angeles doesn't do it, Long Beach doesn't do it, Norwalk doesn't do it. You go next door to Bell Gardens and there's a camera for the speaker right in front of their face. But here in Downey, you want to be censoring our rights. You want to be censoring our rights to be seen, to be heard. You try to repeatedly encourage people, please don't comment on number 3. You try to make it say like, oh, you just move it forward. It's being moved forward. That's a way to encourage. You're trying to influence people to not speak up because that's what you want. You want people to go home. You don't want them up here. But I will say I like the fact that the chair is able to tolerate speakers' speech, unlike the mayor. The mayor is an authoritarian who cannot allow a speech that she disagrees with. That's just the facts. She repeatedly kicks people out if she doesn't like their speeches. So she is putting the city in legal jeopardy. People should be outraged about that, and the mayor should take a clue from Mr. Ortiz, who is apparently a lot more tolerant of speech. So on this whole issue of, there's controversy about the use of space. So what about, can we think about other pieces of space? Why is it that we don't open up all the space that is available so that more businesses and more residences can be built? Why do we allow the County of Los Angeles to waste so much of our space here in the city of Downey? There's so much open space. The county does nothing with it. And I would like to see a plan from the Planning Commission, from the City Council, to demand that the county stop wasting all that land and put it to good use. We can have a lot of projects that go through the Planning Commission if we do that, and that's what we should do.
Good evening. A little change of pace here. For a little background, last Planning Commission meeting, there was an issue brought up about the demolition of a single-family dwelling, a historic single-family dwelling at the corner of Lorena and 5th Street, and it will be replaced with townhomes. Now, if you drive by there, this really doesn't fit the character of the neighborhood. But I was amazed at our new community development director here with the tenacity, not bad, but enough to bring this issue forward and defend it. And at any cost, it was not going to go away. And I made a reference to what this individual's effort was over in the city of Santa Fe Springs in a similar situation. Now, I want to be crystal clear. I was not implying that our new community development director was wanting to put in townhomes over in Santa Fe Springs, although it appeared my words could have been taken that way, and that's fine. But I want to be corrected now that it was quite the opposite, and our community development director was tenacious, I'll say tenacious, in not changing the character of what was already present in Santa Fe Springs and defending single-family dwellings. However, when our new community development director comes over to Downey in this position from Anaheim, it is brought forth and approved by Mr. Guerra, Mr. Duarte, and Mr. Ortiz, claiming they were really having a hard time with demolishing that historical home. But boy, they still pushed the yes green button without a problem. Without a problem. And they're bulldozing the history of Downey. And unfortunately, the Downey Historic Society was nowhere to be found to preserve Downey. And we all talk about Downey this and Downey that, but it is changing for the worst reasons because people are only looking out for themselves and their friends, no matter what group they belong to or what board they sit on, no matter how much gaslighting they do. Even the new city attorney sits here and defends the blacking out of the YouTube video, even tries to stifle the free speech. And we have a commissioner that claims to approve that this is the greatest country, but thanks God that the people are blacking out this visual so people can be seen and heard. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Juan Martinez. I am the delegate of the 64th District. I represent 7 cities, including the city of Downey. And today I just want to come and address everyone here today. For one, you had Ms. Irma announce that an item is being moved. I believe that you need to vote on that as a board to have something removed. And not only that, you have to give an explanation as to why it's being moved. Simply saying that the owner wants it moved is not a justifiable reason, especially for the people who came here today. You are taking off transparency by not providing a date or time, and you are wasting the public's time who has, they have jobs and they have a life. So this is unacceptable on your behalf. I also want to move on to talk about Temple Cantina, which is currently holding land from pandemic era. They have not received that land back after the declaration of the pandemic was stated to be over. So the public wants that land back to be reverted to its usual state. I know they are requesting to expand to receive more land on top of what they've already annexed. And I will tell you that the public is completely against that. The current land that they have not seceded back to the city is creating a fire hazard in the sense that many vehicles are blocking access ways that are very important for fire or any other type of emergency setting. So they are in current violation, and you as the Planning Commission should take that into account because you are responsible for any of those type of violations. Last but not least, this should not be a surprise. They are in a Z1 zoning land. All businesses of that nature are supposed to be zoned in C2. So they are already out of compliance with the zoning. And for you guys to pretend like you don't understand that or do nothing and sit idly by is a failure of your job. So I will be writing these violations up. And remember, not only will they be held accountable, but you guys are accountable for this. You are opening the city up to litigation when you are in violations of your own codes. You're in violation of fires hazard. You're in violation of C1 zoning. And not only that, you're also in violation. You're also in violation of having a business that whose activity is creating a CEQA violation. So these are the 3 violations I'm presenting to this board today. On top of how poorly you handled the managing of moving this item and not providing transparency to when it was being held, I wish for you to guys procure this and make it accessible to the public immediately and do your job. Thank you.
Seeing that there's no more speakers, I would like to mention as the chair, and I can speak for the rest of my commission, that I appreciate every member here to come up and speak about the item. I would suggest that when the item does come forward, you're more than welcome to express your concerns again at the later meeting. We're not going to discuss this item today, but we did hear you, and we appreciate you coming here today. And do any of the commissions like to make any comments? Irma, do you like to?
Just maybe a reminder to the public that Alfonso Hernandez is the project planner for the item number 3, and he is available to get your contact information if you would like to need more information. And also, when the item is heard at the Planning Commission, we will be sending a public notice as we did for tonight's item. And we will be following the Downey Municipal Code with that regard. Thank you.
And if you cannot show up to that meeting, you're more than welcome to send in public comment, and will be attached to our agenda item as well.
Can I ask a question on that? So we had the discussion last time about the notification. Obviously, the notification worked this time. There was people that got it and so forth. How do we do it to make sure that there's an area of people that get it, that the information for when this is brought back? Is there, we just put it in the mail? Is there, how much time do we give them? And how do we follow that? Because we had that discussion last time here.
I can answer that briefly. The Downey Municipal Code has specific provisions that the city has to meet with regard to public hearing items. For public hearing items such as a conditional use permit, we send out hard copy mailed notices to folks that are within 500-foot radius of the property. We also publish it in the Downey Patriot, and the minimum notice per state law, which is what Downey follows, is we provide a 10-day notice.
I just get concerned sometimes that the notice goes to the property owner that maybe a tenant is living in the property. So the property owner, you know, I own the property and I live in Huntington Beach or something, and then they get it, and then the tenant doesn't hear about it or doesn't get the information. That's all. I just want to make sure that people are able to come out and mention things that they see and they live with every day, kind of thing. So thank you for that, Sam.
We're moving on to consent calendar. Approval of the minutes of October 4th, 2023 Planning Commission meeting. Items in this section will be acted in one motion unless the commission requests a separate action. Do any commissioners have any questions or comments on consent calendar item? Or a motion to move to accept the consent calendar?
I don't have any questions, and I move to accept the consent calendar.
Do I have a second?
I have no questions, and I'll second it.
May we vote? I think we're missing one. Seeing the consent calendar has been unanimously approved. Moving on, seeing that we have no other business, we're gonna move on to public hearing R-1 variance PLN-23-00131. Will the planning secretary please confirm proof of publication?
Confirmed.
Thank you. Today we'll have Associate Planner Abraham Luna presenting the item.
Good evening, Chair Ortiz and members of the Planning Commission. Before you tonight, we have a residential variance application for PLN 23-00131, a request for a reduction for a rear yard required setback. The property is located at 10853 Hasty Avenue. The lot is zoned R16,000 with its surrounding area being similarly zoned. The property is currently developed with a 1,579 square foot single family residence, and the applicant proposes to add 2 rear additions of a 360 square foot attached open patio and 227 square foot master bedroom. The lot has a unique shape with no property lines having the same length. The variance process assists applicants in resolving physical hardships that may be in result of the size, shape, and dimensions of the lot. Due to the substandard lot configuration, the applicant proposes to encroach 5 feet into the required 20-foot rear yard setback. Standard lot dimensions in the R16,000 is 50 feet in width and 120 feet in depth, creating a perfectly rectangular lot and buildable area. However, in the applicant's case, the hardship stems from 1, a lot depth approximately 94 feet, substandard to the standard R16,000 lot, and 2, the unique shape of the lot. The property sits on the curvature of Hasty Avenue, constricting its buildable area to the irregular shape of the previous on the previous slide. In addition, the other property affected by the curvature has a reduced rear yard setback, setting a precedent for a reduced setback in the area. The irregular buildable area is shown in blue, and if the project was to comply with the required setback, it would create an addition that is non-functional in relation to the rest of the residence. During our Development Review Committee meeting, standard comments were provided by various departments such as Building and Safety and Fire. In conclusion, staff can make all required findings in a positive manner and recommend the Planning Commission adopt the attached resolution and approved PLN 2300131. And this concludes staff's presentation. I'm available for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Do any commissioners have any questions of staffs? Vice Chair Uva.
I do not have any questions. Thank you for your report.
Commissioner Guerra.
Thanks. I think the only question is I have no problems for this, and obviously this residence is building on to their house, and this all makes common sense. So will this variance be applicable if the resident sells the house in 3 years and somebody else buys it and can build up bigger things there?
So this variance does stick with the property. It is in conformance with the site plan that is submitted. If the future owner wishes to expand the area, it may have to come back to the Planning Commission for approval.
Okay, so, and I'm not talking about expanding, I'm talking about tearing it down and rebuilding if they so choose. Would the setback be applicable to the new application at that time, or would they have to start all over again?
They would have to start the process over again for a variance. Correct.
Okay, to keep this variance from a new property. In other words, I buy it, I want to tear it down 5 years from now, so my new plans doesn't automatically carry on the setback, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, that's good, perfect. Okay, I'm good then. So.
And I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before I open public hearing and call the applicant or their representative, this will be the time for the Planning Commission to disclose any peering site visits or pre-hearing discussions that the commissioners may have had about the subject. Vice Chair Uva, do you have any?
I did drive by the property beginning of this week. Did not get out of the car, just drove by.
Commissioner Guerra?
I think it was lazy week. I did the same thing. I drove by, I didn't get out. No, I know, but I drove by there.
And I have none. The public hearing is now open. Will the applicant or their representative please come forward to the podium to provide testimony or any other information you would like the commission to consider?
Good evening. My name is Guadalupe Luevanos. I lived in Downey my whole life. So what we're wanting to build is really nothing sophisticated that will be obstructing anybody's privacy. It's just an extension of one of the rooms to add a bathroom and a just to make it a little bit more comfortable for us and for my family. I don't know if you have any questions.
Vice Chair Uva, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Commissioner Guerra.
I just had a curiosity. It doesn't have anything to do with this. How long have you guys lived there and so forth?
We lived in that particular house since 2010. I've lived in Downey since 1978.
That's great.
I went to all the Downey schools.
Good, good. Well, congratulations for adding on.
And my daughter's a teacher at Warren High School too. So.
Okay, well, that helps. It doesn't hurt. Excuse me. I shouldn't say it helps.
That definitely changed my mind. No, congratulations. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
May staff confirm that there have been no correspondence in favor or opposed to it?
Staff has not received any correspondence.
Is there anyone who would like to speak on the public hearing item?
There I am. We're back on live TV, everybody. Do we have a quorum? Because it looks like Mr. Mario went to the cabeza. I only see two commissioners. Are we going to hold this as a... Mr. Attorney, are you going to answer that or not?
Through the chair, Bria, if you may stop the timer.
Thank you.
We can restart the timer once Mr. Commissioner Guerra returns.
You don't have a quorum.
So we'll take a pause during this time since there's no public comment at this time. We'll take a pause.
I'm the lawmaker, you're the lawbreaker. That's why I have to call it out like it is.
We gotta take a recess because we don't have no quorum.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Don't break the quorum. I need to reset my time, please. So here we're discussing PL and 23.
We have not started yet. Give us a moment, please. Thank you. You
started
can take a
clock.
seat.
Can I get my 3 minutes back?
I'm sorry. I just.
All right, you can come up and speak.
Goddamn right I'm going to speak on PLN 23-00131 because I'm here in support of the applicant, the Luvanos family, because they're looking for a variance under the Exhibit A, which they qualify for because they met all those compliance to comply. However, the dimensions and the irregular lot shape creates a hardship for the size to accommodate their new construction. Well, I'm here to have you kind of bend the red tape to make it work. And there's no reason for you not to do that because you've done it with other applicants in the past. So either you're racist, fascist, and discriminatory against this family. That's the reason why big boy Mario up there is laughing because he knows I'm right.
We need to go speaking. Can you go back to speaking to the item, please? I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Circumstances are a result of the shape of the lot. Not the shape of Big Mario, but the shape of the lot. And I'm talking about the so-called granting variance that will allow the applicant to gain some of those rights automatically, for the record. So God damn it, I'm here to promote the residential construction and the fucking complements existing in these fucked up neighborhoods that you keep changing because you have an ex-mayor, conflict of interest, fucking bullshitter.
Can you go back to talking about the item, please?
Please, could you suspend the time, Ms. Recording Secretary? Could you please stop this time?
Thank you. The architectural issue.
Your time is time.
I will need to remind you that the personal attacks that are not related to
It's
any
not a
matter
personal attack.
of city business
I'm
have no place
criticizing
in
the
this chamber,
goddamn person.
and
I
they
didn't
will
use
not
his
be
name.
allowed.
This is your
I
first.
did not use
This
his
is your first
goddamn name.
warning, Herman. This is your first
I'm talking
warning.
about the
Warning that you are
goddamn
disrupting these
program
proceedings.
This is your first warning.
Behavior
Promotion for
that behavior
Can we kick him
residential
out?
result in your
construction.
removal.
So
Thank
stop fucking interrupting
Can we take a
me
recess,
while
please?
I'm trying to
Please
engage
stop the time.
in this important topic. Criticize those who I wish to criticize.
We're
It's
gonna
not a
take a quick
violation.
recess. Can we ask everybody to please leave? Clearing.
Are you clearing the chambers or are you asking
Clear.
us to leave? Which
Clear?
one?
Okay, we reconvene right.
Do you want us to leave the chamber as he said, or do you
5
want
Mike, oh, there we go. The meeting is reconvened. The chambers are now open.
Poor applicants had to sit there.
Really? They're letting us into our building?
First and foremost, I just want to say I apologize to the applicants. It's something that we're currently dealing with, and I apologize for what you just witnessed. And Mr. Herman, you were just given a one warning. You want to get a second warning. If not, you'll be removed from the chambers. These comments and outbursts do not help anything with this application. Your minute will start now.
I had a minute and 29 seconds, sir. Am I going to get my full time back or not? I want to see 129 up there. Please.
1 minute and 29.
There we go. The proposed rear yard setback of 15
Sorry.
feet will
We
make
have
up
1
the
minute.
difference of buildable area as compared to the applicant's surrounding neighbors. If you look at the view of the pictures, we find out that there's a swimming pool pretty much up to the border or the line between one neighborhood and another. So there is ample room for this so-called approved addition, and the property should remain in proportion to the size of the lot by complying with the lot coverage for PLN 2300131. Now you hear, you see? See, I can criticize anyone I want. I can make little animal noises as long as I'm talking about the goals and the policies and the programs for this plan. So again, do not violate my civil rights, Mr. Attorney. Do not interrupt me during my Brown Act time and violate me by a Bain Act by threatening me, 52.1. Otherwise, as I said for the record, 42 U.S.C. 1983, politely, fuck you.
So I do not appreciate that we've gone even worse. We've gone from bad in the city attorney to worse in the new city attorney. So we were already at really bad, actually, with Langer, and the other one that would come to the Planning Commission, Crosswaith. So they didn't care for the city. They did as much as they could to silence us in the public comment here. And like they would come up with devices to stop us from commenting. But I think this is really outrageous. So the other speaker said some...
I'm going to apologize really quick. Can you please go back to speaking in regards to the application, the variance?
So this is the application public hearing with the public comment period, and a speaker previous to me brought up some things about the planning. I think one of the planning commissioners or more, and it was alleged by the city attorney presiding over the city public hearing, this planning commission public hearing, that you can't have, quote, personal attacks, but that is just false. I don't believe that the city attorney should continue to give the planning commission bad legal advice. That is not true. So, if if the U.S. Constitution, according to the United States Supreme Court, you can cuss at say a law enforcement officer. Of course you can cuss at a politician, at an elected appointed official. That has already been established. So I don't appreciate the fact that we have a city attorney giving bad legal advice to our planning commission, because that's what's happening. So in regards to the rest of the application, yeah, I agree that the family should get, what they're asking for. It's a little bit concerning that there's so much that goes into this. Why is it not easier for people to make modifications on their properties? Why do they have to go through you? As for something, this doesn't seem like a big change. Why do they have to go through this whole process? Why can't you make it easier, faster, more streamlined, more modern? And then on top of that, again, I don't know. I feel like you're getting bad advice. In fact, I know you're getting bad advice because, those lies from the city attorney that we heard earlier need to just stop. We were already at bad with Langer and Crosswaith. We want to get better, not worse with the funk. So no more of that. Let's have a better planning commission process. No funk.
All right. Hey, approve these folks' permit. Let them do what they want. They don't need you. They need less government. We need less government. We don't need to run everything by you. You're not helping at all. You can't run anything anyway. None of you Democrats, you're all Democrats. Every single one of you are Democrats, no matter what you try to say. And you're trying to put more restrictions on homeowners to add on or build or whatever it is. You need to get out of the way and let people do their thing. If you guys ran everything, it would be terrible, just like you're trying to solve homelessness and crime and fentanyl in the streets. You won't even give us more police officers. You won't. You grandstand like you want more police officers and you support the police, but you don't. You absolutely don't. So get out of the way, let them do their thing, approve everything they want, and just, if you guys, I always say it, if you guys could run the Sahara Desert, there'd be a shortage of sand within 6 months. So get out of the way and let people prosper on their own. Let them enjoy their constitutional rights and their rights in the Declaration of Independence in this country. Get out of the way. Put the video back up. If you truly believe that this is the greatest country, you won't be censoring anything like you're doing up and down this state. That's because you're Democrats. You are progressive, slave-holding Democrats. You think you know better than everybody else. Approve all their permits and let them get on with their life. Thank you.
So I want to start off by saying my name is Juan Martinez. I am the delegate of the 64th District. I represent 7 cities, including the city of Downey. Today you have, why are you nodding? Yeah, that's what I thought. Today you have an item before you, and you need to not intervene with your bureaucracy to stop people from using their property as they wish. People bought their homes with the promise of being able to do whatever they want with that property. I also believe that this is a violation of SB 9, which says that you can use your property to create different lots for your property and build, or pretty much it gives you the freedom to do a lot with it. And this is the city once again trying to limit how much of your property you can use to make sure that people can build housing here. It's clear you did that with the diamond package, where you were requiring certain certifications that costed up to $60,000 to be approved in the city of Downey in order to build new housing or in new homes here. And this type of government control is just pathetic, and it should be beneath everyone here in the city of Downey. I don't know why we're even interfering with people's rights to use their money. This is their land. They paid for it. They're the taxpayers. I'm sure that they might have even voted for some of you. As to the question of this item is being brought up to a body which I feel has handled this very incompetently. We have people smiling up there instead of paying attention to the constituent speakers. We have a city attorney who's designated himself to give warnings when that's outside of his scope of duties. And we have a new community development director who thinks that she's going to weaponize the police against the constituents, including the people speaking on this item. Let's be assured that not only are we going to address items like this when there are violations of the people being committed, but we're also going to address when city members are violating agenda items such as this by attacking the people who are speaking on this item. So I ask you to do your job. Do not add extra powers to yourself that are not within your contract, and do not attack the community. And if you're gonna pay attention to these speakers, which you should be doing, don't be laughing. It's very unprofessional, especially from a clown like Mario Guerra, whose podcast is a piece of crap. With that said, I yield my rest of my time.
The public hearing is now closed. It is now for the time for the Planning Commission to deliberate. Does any commission have any questions at this time, or the commission like to discuss the item? Vice Chair Uva.
I don't have any questions. I think this homeowner should be entitled to do this, and I will support them in their request.
Commissioner Guerra.
I want to put these poor people out of their misery and vote.
Same.
I make a motion that we accept this.
Motion. Do we have a second?
So
I will
sorry,
second
folks.
it. Or did you?
Yeah. Can we take a vote?
Oops. Did it work?
It doesn't work?
There we go.
Does it work?
They did it work.
Okay, it does. Okay, good. Sorry, folks.
Thank you so
Enjoy.
much. The motion has been approved. The action of the Planning Commission will be final unless the matter is appealed to the City Council within an appropriate fee with the next 15-day period as set forth in the city's municipal code. Does the Community Development Director have any additional comments for tonight?
I do not.
Do any of my commissioners have any additional comments for tonight? Vice Chair Uva?
None for me.
Commissioner Guerra?
No, thank you.
Meeting adjourned.
At least he watched my podcast and knows it's a piece of shit.